Good afternoon. This Committee of Adjustment meeting for the Township of Selwyn for Tuesday, August the 8th, 2023 will come to order. Members of the public, staff, presenters, and members of the committee, please be advised that meetings are broadcast and recorded and made available on the internet. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof? Seeing none, we will now go to our planner to let us know the purpose of the meeting. Per.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Committee of Adjustment is holding a public hearing in accordance with Section 45 of the Planning Act in order to consider 3 applications for relief from our Township Comprehensive Zoning Bylaw number 2009-21. The prescribed notice of the public meeting were provided by prepaid first-class mail to all residents within 60-meter radius of the subject properties. Ministries and agencies were circulated via email.
Sorry, can you just make sure your microphone is on?
Yep, it's on.
Is it on?
Yep.
Okay, just maybe speak really close to the mic. I'm just having a hard time
I'm
getting
sitting
you.
about as close as I can to it.
Okay, hold the mic to you.
But yeah, it is on. The subject properties were posted with a sign advertising the public hearing. The notices are also available on the township website. The notice circulations complies with the requirements of the Planning Act. If a specified person or public body does not make oral submissions at the public hearing or make written submissions to the Committee of Adjustment of the Township of Selwyn before the variances are granted, the person or public body may not be entitled to appeal the decision of the Committee of Adjustment to the Township of Selwyn to the Ontario Land Tribunal. If you wish to be notified of the decision of the Committee of Adjustment of the Township of Selwyn on the proposed variances, you must make written request to the Secretary or Treasurer of the Committee of Adjustment of the Township of Selwyn, but by fax, email, or Dropbox. Our first application today is file number A23-23. This is for 8 Green Acres Crescent in the Ennismore Ward. The relief being requested is to reduce the minimum high water setback from 30 meters to 16.6 meters to a new dwelling. And the project is for the construction of a 3,196.6 square foot meter dwelling, including a covered front porch. We have we have agency comments from the Conservation Authority that an ORCA permit will be required. And Brock and Margot Edwards provided a comment of no objection to the proposed variances or variance. As outlined in my report, I do find that the application meets the 4 tests of a minor variance, and I do recommend this application for approval.
Thank you very much. And I understand that the agent, Holly Richards-Conley, is here with us virtually. Holly, is there anything you wish to add to this report?
You through Madam Chair, we have completed an archaeological assessment on this property and nothing was found. And we've also submitted our permit for the new septic system to Peterborough Public Health. So we're ready to go if the committee seeks or gives the.
Thank you very much. And I understand that the owners, Arlene and Gary Gunnis, are on with us virtually as well. Is there anything you wish to add?
Hello, this is Arlene. Yeah, no, I have nothing to add. Thank you, Holly.
All right, thank you very much. Is there anyone that has registered to speak against?
There's no one else here for this application.
All right, thank you. I'll bring it to committee. Are there any questions? Seeing none, we'll move on to A2423, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A2423, this is for 3182 Spring Lane East in the Smith Ward. The variance requested is to reduce the high water mark setback from 30 meters to 21.2 meters to an existing dwelling. The project is to construct a 364 square foot dwelling addition. We have comments from, I believe, just the Conservation Authority in this case. Yes, and an ORCA permit will not be required. I do find that the application meets the 4 tests of a minor variance, and I do recommend this application for approval.
Thank you very much. And I understand that the owner, Sam McLean, is on the line but doesn't wish to speak. And that is there anyone else that is attending virtually that is in favor of this application?
Mr. Davidson may have a question if he wants to speak up.
Mr. Davidson, you have a question?
No, I'm just here for information. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there anyone that is registered to speak against this application?
There's no one else here for this application.
Thank you very much. I'll bring it to committee. Any questions? Seeing none, we'll move on to A2523, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A25-23. This is for 2878 Antelope Trail in the Smith Ward. 3 variances are requested, including to reduce the minimum high water mark setback from 30 meters to 21.4 meters to an existing open deck, to reduce the minimum high water mark setback from 30 meters to 23.15 meters to an open deck extension, and to reduce the minimum high water mark setback from 30 meters to 25.55 meters to a dwelling. The project is to construct a 67 square foot dwelling addition and a 84.6 square foot open deck extension. In this case, we have comments from the Conservation Authority again, that an ORCA permit will not be required. I do find that the application meets the 4 tests of a minor variance, and I do recommend the application for approval.
Thank you very much. And I understand that the owners, Mario and Gabriella Tino, are attending virtually. Do you have anything you wish to add to this report?
No additional information other than to thank Per and his team for the advice during this whole process so far.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else here in favor of the application? Is there anyone to speak against the application? Seeing none, I'll bring it to committee. Any questions? Seeing none, I would like to have a motion for these applications, please, to approve. Councillor Boyko, Councillor Henry, who's with us virtually. Hello. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you very much. We have the minutes of our Committee of Adjustment meeting of July the 11th, 2023. Councillor Koulis is moving. Councillor Boyko is seconding. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. And a motion to adjourn. Our next meeting is September 26th. Deputy Mayor Black. I shouldn't be saying this. Member Black, yes. And Member Koulis, all in favor. That's carried. Thank you very much. We'll be beginning our council meeting right at 1. Thank you. I will. Let's see, 12:59. Thank you. Good afternoon. This council meeting for the Township of Selwyn for Tuesday, August the 8th, 2023 will come to order. We respectfully acknowledge that we are on the treaty and traditional territory of the Mississauga and Anishinaabe. We offer our gratitude to the First Peoples for their care for and teachings about our earth and our relations. May we honor those teachings. Please reserve a moment of silence so that the council, staff, and members of the public can quietly reflect on our duty to the community that we are trying to serve. Thank you. Members of the public, staff, presenters, and members of council, please be advised that meetings are broadcast and recorded and made available on the internet. Is there any declaration of pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof? Seeing none, we will proceed, and we do have Councillor Henry with us today virtually. We have the minutes of July the 11th, 2023. Is there any errors or omissions? If not, can I have someone move to accept them? Councillor Koulis and Deputy Mayor Black, all in favor? That is carried. All in, okay. Is there any discussion out of the minutes? Councillor Henry, did you put your hand up? Okay, thank you. We are now moving into staff introductions, and I guess, Adam, are you going to be introducing our first new employee?
Hello, there we go. Just like to introduce Adam Babcock. Adam started with us last week. He comes from Peterborough County. He was there for 11 years, I think. 12 years. Yeah, lots of plowing experience, lots of road maintenance work. So he's going to be a good fit with our crew, and has been so far.
Oh, thank you. Adam, would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, I'll give it a shot there.
Speak into the mic.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. Very grateful for your opportunity there to be a part of the township. You guys have great leadership over there at Public Works, and that's kind of what persuaded me to come over. So, and I like the fact that you guys keep a lot of maintenance and everything like that in house. So really looking forward to working there and kind of gathering some skills and learning off the guys that you guys already have here, and kind of pursuing the rest of my career here. So thanks for having me again.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Yeah. And we have another new employee, and Angie, are you going to be speaking?
Yeah, yes, I will. Yeah. I'm happy to introduce Brianna Guiato. Did I say it right? Yay! So Brianna will be covering the maternity leave for Carrie Partridge. Carrie's with us today as well. So we wish Carrie all the best. And when she does actually have her maternity leave start, which isn't expected until September. So that's given quite a bit of time for Brianna and Carrie to spend together, kind of get up to speed on projects and files. Brianna is a local person. She's got some really interesting experience. I'll maybe let her talk a little bit about that later if she wishes to. She's also an entrepreneur, so she's very in tune with local businesses and some of the challenges probably that they face. So I think she'll be a great fit here for the time that she's here.
Thank you. Would you like to say a few words, Brianna? You have to go up to the microphone. Okay.
Yes, thank you. I really am looking forward to this opportunity, and so far everything's been wonderful, and I'm really passionate about the Township of Selwyn, and I think that this opportunity just opens up a world of great new challenges that I am here for. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, welcome to you as well. And we wish all the best to Carrie as she awaits her newest bundle of joy. We are now going to be hearing from Jane Colbert with the Age Friendly Peterborough. If you'd like to go to the mic, and I just want to remind you, Jane, we have a 10-minute limit.
Yeah, thank you. Age Friendly Peterborough was developed in 2017 when the Community Action Plan was launched. The report card that was provided in the agenda package provides an overview of the last 5 years. The 2017 plan was evaluated, and we did a community consultation. No, sorry, we're still on the first. I can do my slides. Thanks. So we did community consultation, and we incorporated the feedback in the plan for 2023 to 2027. So I'll give just a very brief history of Age Friendly Peterborough, some of the successes, and the future plan to build an age-friendly community that supports healthy aging. The World Health Organization in 2007 started a movement where active aging is regarded as a lifelong process. The World Health Organization defines an age-friendly community as one where policies, services, and structures related to the physical and social environments are designed to support and enable older people to live in a secure environment, enjoy good health, and continue to participate in their communities. In 2016, Age-Friendly Peterborough joined the international movement. Age-Friendly Peterborough, we developed an advisory committee, which we call AFPAC, and we meet to oversee the development of the implementation of the plan. This is a slide that shows the structure of AFPAC, where we have representation from City Council. Deputy Mayor Black is our County Council representative. We have representatives from Curve Lake and Hiawatha, and each of the councils provide a community representative. Then we have 4 working groups, and the chairs of those groups are part of AFPAC. So that's the full team is of 12. We also have ad hoc task forces that focus on a specific project. So right now we have 9 task forces. The community action plan is organized into 4 goals: basic needs, staying mobile, building relationships, and learning and contributing. Each goal has 6 strategic directions, and there's 146 proposed action plans that were identified in the 2017 plan. The plan was approved by the City of Peterborough, Peterborough County, all 8 townships, and Curve Lake and Hiawatha First Nations. Age-Friendly Peterborough supports what we refer to as the Greater Peterborough area, as I just mentioned, the area that I just mentioned. The coordinator is funded through the city and the county, and the coordinator has a modest budget that's been augmented by funders such as United Way. Many projects were undertaken by Age-Friendly Peterborough and community partners over the last 5 years, and the report card summarizes how the Greater Peterborough area has become more age-friendly since the release of that 2017 plan. One highlight I'd like to mention is the Peterborough Senior Service Directory, because access and finding information are barriers to older adults. So the directory, which is found on the Age-Friendly Peterborough website, and it's also available by calling 211. A person can speak to a service navigator. And thanks to funding from the United Way, in 2023, we will be creating an in-print information guide that includes the service directory. Transportation also continues to be a significant barrier. So we acknowledge community care for arranging 33,000 rides to 2,200 people last year. And we're also very thankful to have the link, which provides an opportunity for older adults to travel from Curve Lake and Selwyn to Peterborough. The process of becoming age-friendly is cyclical. So we've gone through that process once with the 2017 plan, and now starting again. So we receive funding from the Ministry for Seniors and Accessibility, and we had a team of 4 youth and 4 seniors who interviewed stakeholders, conducted research, and assessed the results of the community consultation. So in the plan, we included the results of the research, such as a demographic profile and local trends. One I'd like to just highlight with Selwyn that the number of older adults living in Selwyn increased from 25% in 2006 to 29% in 2021. In comparison, the region average is 25%, and Ontario is 19%, and Canada is 18%. So all of the areas in our region are much higher than the provincial and national average. We also expect that that number is going to grow because, as you see on the chart on page 13 of the plan, the largest age group is actually at age 60 to 64 right now. So as time passes and that cohort ages, it'll be time when the greater Peterborough area requires many more services than what we have today. Another trend that's important to note is that the cost of living continues to rise, and those on a fixed income, the revenue is not increasing at the rate of their expenses. So there's a scenario that demonstrates that on page 12, and that uses data from the Living Wage 2021 report to just demonstrate how older adults in our region are living in poverty. On page 20 to 25 of the 2023 plan, it provides a summary of some of the community engagement results according to theme. If you're interested in getting or seeing the survey results, we do have some posted on our age-friendly website on our dashboard, and you can request the full report. But these are just two impact statements that really create a sense of urgency for our services for older adults. One being, I told my family I don't need anything for Christmas. Just buy me Depends, as I can't afford to buy them myself. And no one comes to see if I'm okay. No regular community involvement. No one knows I'm here. So the purpose of the 2023 plan is to outline the identified needs of older adults in an action-oriented way and to provide local government, organizations, and businesses direction on how they can contribute to an age-friendly community. Individuals and groups can align and embed their actions with the goals and strategies outlined in the 2023 plan. This is a different approach than what we had with the 2017 plan, where the proposed actions were stated. A higher level framework allows for additional actions to be included and more flexibility over the 5-year term. So, for example, with COVID, many organizations had to pivot what they did. So we became age-friendly in many different ways that weren't identified in the 2017 plan. So the 2023 plan will provide a roadmap that outlines the 4 priority areas, the goals, and the strategies on how the goals will be achieved. The first priority area our goals and strategies ensure that older adults' basic needs are met, such as housing, healthcare, and addressing income barriers. Priority Area 2 supports transportation and infrastructure to ensure older adults are able to stay mobile in the community, such as enhancing transportation options, enhancing age-friendly infrastructure, and accessible indoor and outdoor spaces, and supporting the implementation of complete and connected community design. The plan ensures that relationships are sustained to encourage collaboration and foster partnerships, will improve system navigation, promote intergenerational opportunities, promote collaborative partnerships to support vulnerable local older adults to feel safe in the community, and promote a diverse representation of aging and the inclusion of older adults. Priority Area 4 ensures older adults have the opportunity to learn and contribute. Will increase connectivity and access to information, support access to recreation and social activities, encourage participation in lifelong learning, promote volunteerism, and support employment opportunities. When I use the term we, I was referring to the greater Peterborough area community. Age-friendly Peterborough provides the leadership and motivation for community action. This is an example of a work plan where lead organizations will include their actions that fall within the strategy outlined in the plan. AFP will provide an annual update that outlines the progress of each action through the predetermined objectives and outcomes. The AFP impact report will be published annually. So the flexibility of the 2023 plan will allow for actions to be changed or added at any time. The higher level framework will also allow the opportunity to incorporate changing needs of the community quickly. We continue to listen to older adults, their families, caregivers, care providers, organizations, and businesses that support local aging residents. And when a gap is identified, the AFP working groups can prepare a call to action. There. As projects begin to continue to evolve and include a greater number of community organizations and volunteers, AFP will become closer to achieving the vision for Peterborough to be a thriving region that's inclusive, respectful, and accessible to people of all ages and abilities. Oh, one more. Down there. Next step, Selwyn. As I was at council meeting last month, and I know that next steps and what can we do is important to council. So I had a slide prepared so I can mention that. So I'm encouraging the Selwyn Township to take these next steps. Today, receive the AFP report card 2017 to 2022. Approve your support for the Age-Friendly Peterborough Community Action Plan 2023 to 2027. Then over the year, review the 2023 plan and add your actions to the work plans. Engage older adults in the development of projects that continue to be an age, that contribute for an age-friendly community. And over the next 5 years, report your successes annually. I'm here to help because together we can make a difference. I can do presentations, meet with staff or community groups. I'll support you through the process. The plan has been approved by the City of Peterborough, Peterborough County, and the Township of North Kawartha. And my next steps are to do delegations to the remaining 6 townships and 2 First Nations in August and September. I will then post the report card and the plan on the Age-Friendly Peterborough website and print both documents.
Okay, so thank you very much for your presentation. I don't know if there are any questions. Deputy Mayor Black.
Thank you through you, Mayor Sennis. Thanks for the presentation, Jane. That's fantastic. The report card and the new report for 23 is very detailed. There's a lot of incredible information in it. So I thank you and staff and members of ACPAC for helping pull that together. I think it's an important document and it gives us some direction moving forward. And, you know, your statistics around the senior population here is absolutely correct. It's only growing. It's growing faster than in most places. As you said, that cohort 60 to 64 in the next few years will be within that statistic and will very quickly be at 35 to 40% seniors in this area. So as you know, I've been active on the housing task force through Abbeyfield over the past number of years and support those types of initiatives to make sure that seniors in our community can age in place. I think that's such an important part of what Age-Friendly Peterborough supports in that people in the county don't want to have to move to the city of Peterborough to find a place to live as they get older. They want to continue to stay in their community where their families and friends are close by so they can stay active. They move away from that, they become less active, of course. So I think it's the report is I certainly support the report and we'll move the recommendation when the time comes. But I think municipalities also have to take part, as you say, in supporting the recommendations, supporting housing projects that understand the need to have housing that allows people to age in place in our community. All can't be single family dwellings. They have to be, support all aspects of our population. So appreciate the presentation and certainly support the 2 documents you're asking us to do today.
All right, if there are no other questions, if you'd like to move to receive the report, Deputy Mayor Black, seconded by Councillor Henry, all in favor? That's carried. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, are there any questions that have been put forward for us during question period?
No questions.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to the report for Mr. Vance on development charges. Thane.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor. development charges reports before council for approval today. Council has seen or heard of this study since, I guess, the start of the year. We have been out with our consultant. They've been here several times. And the study and proposed charges are available today for approval. As directed at the last meeting in June, Watson made the various amendments to the draft bylaw with respect to lot levies, clarification of some agricultural exemptions, and some detailed definitions of the nonprofit housing and affordable housing unit exemptions. So all of that is provided as an attachment to the report, as is a comparison of how the new study affects development charges in comparison to our existing study. So it's all available there for council, and I can just confirm we have not received any written comments, or actually that written or verbal actually. So.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions of Lane? Deputy Mayor Black.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor Sennis. Lane, just on attachment 2, where you have the comparisons and so on, just for clarification. So when we're talking about the Lakefield self-development area, they have particular charges for that area, but they also have to pay the development charges that are common to the rest of. So when you see that total at the bottom of 16,000, I get my glasses on here. This is too small. 16,070. That includes the 12,127 and the 3943. Obviously, that's the math, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. So it is. Those are the numbers per unit.
That's the current. The calculated is in over at 16.8, which the next column over. But then, of course, in year 1, we can only actually charge 80%. So then it's
right
in year after year. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Just for this clarification.
All right. Are there any other questions? Seeing none, I'd like a motion, please, to receive the report. Councillor Koulis, seconded by Councillor Henry. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much. We'll move on to Mike Richardson on the 50th anniversary of the Ennismore Arena. Mike.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. I won't spend a long time on this report because it's fairly self-explanatory, but very briefly, following the dedication last year, and because of a number of requests from families to have an opportunity to do some sort of a dedication to memorialize family members, perhaps other than children, which is the only dedication wall that's open at Ennismore right now. We started looking into the possibility. The 50th anniversary seemed to be the perfect theme to be able to do that, because from the 2012 fundraising efforts, there really aren't places to add to that. You'd have to start destructing walls or doing some major construction to add to what's there right now. So this wound up being the perfect opportunity to add without taking away in any way at all. We have spoken to Delray. There's product available that would be very cost effective and would make it a good opportunity for the community and for the township at the same time. So I think you're all familiar with the area right beside or in between the pro shop and the canteen. Nice display wall that won't cause too much congestion, because you've ever been in Ennismore Arena on a Saturday in the winter, so there's not a lot of extra space. So it's kind of a nice spot for that. We've got immediately, I know we could have 2 up later today if we were able to produce them and get them up. But there is a good amount of interest. 50 potential plaques, worked out very well from the product perspective, very well from the theme perspective, and from the amount of space that's there, if we include the plaque that was made last year when the actual celebration was happening. If there's any questions.
Thank you very much. I think council will recall that we were lobbied during our tour about this from Mr. Richardson. And so are there any questions? Councillor Cool's.
Through you. Can you clarify who you're targeting for this to use the bricks? Because 50 is a very limited number and we already have a lot of people already using bricks. And I was just wondering if it being the 50th anniversary or dovetailing for the 50th anniversary of the Sunday Night League. Like, I'm just trying to figure out, is it for people who don't have their name up, or are we looking for duplicate names now? And is there a first come, first serve?
I don't think we want to, sorry, through you, Madam Mayor, I don't think we want to restrict anything, but the idea was for those who haven't had a chance to have their name on the wall someplace. Granted, some of the families that are on there have had their lives change and their family situation change a lot. Campbell family would be one I would think of. They're on the wall. They may want to do something beyond that, given the changes.
Mhm.
So to clarify, it is first come, first serve.
Yes, through you, Madam Mayor, that's the idea, is it'd be first come, first serve.
And another follow-up. Through you, that marketing piece that's attached to that, are we going to jazz that up?
Not by me, but I'm sure we can. Yeah.
I know we have the capabilities.
Yeah, well, I know one of us who does not, but yeah, absolutely. We can make sure that it's something that's even punchier and yeah.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Black.
Thank you, through you, Mayor Stennis. Just to clarify the reserve, it's a new reserve that's going to be created with these funds. It's not going into the regular Parks Reserve.
Through you, Madam Mayor, that's absolutely right. It would be a reserve for, there was a reserve previously that some of the money got used to add sliding doors, to upgrade, to take away PLAM and put in quartz in the bathrooms and whatnot. Because we had reserved from the 2012 original campaign, it would be more similar to that. It would be reserved for the Ennismore Arena.
And follow up, so decisions around the use of that reserve would be at council, or would that go through the Parks?
It would be at council. Yeah, through
council.
you,
Okay.
Mayor. It would be through council, the same as we had. Well, you wouldn't have been on council at the time,
Yeah.
but everything had to go through council,
Okay.
even though it was established money in a reserve.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I think it's a wonderful project, and the Ennismore community is indeed a unique one. And this is another project that I'm sure they will wholeheartedly endorse and embrace. So I'm looking for someone to move the recommendation. Councillor Koulis. Councillor Boyko, all in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much. We will move on to Hare, talking about part lot exemption application fees.
Thank you, Your Worship.
That your phone.
The Building and Planning Department has identified that our current fee schedule is deficient in that it does not currently have a fee for what's called part lot exemption. Just by way of brief explanation, part lot exemption is utilized when you have a multi-unit dwelling or a semi-detached dwelling constructed as part of a plan of subdivision, whereby the legally conveyable parcel is not created until at least foundation stage of the construction of the row house or semi-detached dwelling, such that the legal lot lines align with the shared walls. Or obviously, you can't do those type of surveys until you have some kind of a structure in place, right? Just by way of comparables and talking with our manager of building and planning, we're recommending a fee of $1,250 plus $75 per lot for this fee. That represents sort of the lower end of the spectrum based on the comparables in my report, or we're open to obviously council input on what the fee should be. Anticipated future projects that we may see with this type of an application coming forward include 45 Bishop Street, 26 Edward Street, as well as many of the units in Lakefield South when it comes online will be multi-unit buildings. So if you have any further questions, I'd be happy to take those. That's my report.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions from Pear? This certainly fits in with what the province is trying to achieve with increased density. So it's timely to be doing this now, I think. I need someone to move the recommendation. Deputy Mayor Black, Councillor Henry, all in favor? That is carried. Thank you. And now, Per, we'll move on to the new county official plan.
Thank you, Your Worship. My next report here has to do with the new county official plan, which was adopted by county council and sent to the province for approval last summer. The official plan has been posted on what's called the Environmental Registry of Ontario for a 60-day commenting period ending on August 20th. So both the county and township are in agreement here that our principal comment on the matter is that due to changes in provincial policy that both the county and the township have brought forward to respective councils, that the minister not approve the new official plan until necessary revisions are made to our official plan to reflect what the future provincial policy is going to be. In that regard, I know there's been some, from my original report, there's been some consideration of the wording of the recommendation, but basically we're going to recommend that we just receive the county's report on this matter as well as the township report. And then also that the specific wording is that the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing be requested to defer approval of the new county official plan until after the new provincial planning statement comes into effect, and that the minister then modify the official plan to be consistent with the new provincial planning statement and provide the modified version to the county and local municipalities for comment prior to final approval thereof. And we're also asking, of course, that you direct staff to provide comments or this report and the resolution, a copy of it to the County of Peterborough, the Minister of Municipal Affairs through the ERO website, as well as our local MPP. Yeah, if you have any questions regarding the report, I'd be happy to take those.
Yeah, I agree. I think that we should change the original recommendation that's in our agenda to just receive the county staff report, because there were changes made to the report that we received in our agenda after it was extensive discussion at the county council table, and is not reflected in that report. But if we're just receiving it, doesn't really matter. And I'm hoping that the province will abide by what we're requesting, but I don't have high hopes. Anyway, Deputy Mayor Black.
Thank you, through you, Mayor Senes. Yeah, there was a lot of discussion in county council around this, and a lot of it had to do with the original motion was asking the province to basically make the changes and approve it without any further public consultation or transparency at our level, at the public level. So that was one of the issues that changed the motion at county council. But one thing that's important for people to understand is the new provincial policy statement will exclude Peterborough County from the greater Golden Horseshoe, which is something that anybody that went to MPP Dave Smith, thank you, meeting months ago, the issue of density in requirements for rural was a big issue, and that we should not be in that planning area. So the change has happened since the official plan was submitted last year. The proposed changes. So when our official plan comes back, we will have to change all of those things having to do with the policy statements around the greater Golden Horseshoe, which would delay it further. So it's kind of a good news, bad news thing, I think, for the municipality. I'm with Mayor Senes on my faith that the province will take this job on. I think they'll send it back to us and we'll make the changes and then have to send it back for approval again. So really, that is the biggest issue, the transparency and the issue about Peterborough County being taken out of the greater Golden Horseshoe planning area. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Seeing none, I just want to mention too that there's a lot of pent up demand right now in our township by our residents to want to get on with their plans. And they're not doing it right now because they're waiting on the new official plan. And it seems a little contrary that here we're asking the province to hold up But it doesn't matter whether we have them make the changes or we're going to have to make the changes. We're darned if we do, and we're darned if we don't. So I think this is the proper direction that we have to go here, even though I don't like it. Anyways, so can I have someone move the recommendation that has been changed with the wording that Paris suggested? Deputy Mayor Black, Councillor Henry, all in favor? That is carried. Thank you. We're moving on to consent items now. What are there any that anyone wants pulled? Deputy Mayor Black.
5A.
Okay.
And I'd like 5C. I have one question about 5C.
5C. Do you have anything? 5I. Do you have anything, Councillor Henry, you want pulled? No? Okay. All right. So let's start first with 5A, which is the budget timetable. Deputy Mayor Black.
Thank you, through you, Mayor Senes. Thanks for the report and the schedule. I think it helps give us all an understanding of the amount of work involved in putting a budget together. There's many steps. I have a couple of requests that I'd like to put forward. I've talked about a finance committee in the past because I think the information that I get is not satisfactory to me to understand and make sure that we're doing our fiduciary responsibility here. So I'm not asking for us to move forward with a finance committee as they have at the county and a number of townships in the city and so on at this point. But firstly, I'd like to get the final budget binder much sooner, a week sooner than is proposed, because really it gives us only 3 business days to ask questions. It's going to come on a Friday. The weekend is only so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the following week to ask questions. And I know last year, and it was an election year, so things were a little bit differently, but it was a bit of a rush to ask questions around particular line items that really is not something that, you know, we'd have a 5-hour council meeting if all those questions had to be answered in public. But there are lots of questions that come up in the details. I'd like to see council have that package a week earlier, so there is plenty of time. We're not pushing staff to set up meetings and those sorts of things. So that's one thing. Number 2, the quarterly reports on the budget. Again, I've asked in the past to have a roll-up of the departmental income expenses, you know, whatever format you want to put that in, to help us understand, again, at a high level, you know, what the financial situation is for the municipality. It's all there in the detail, and I still want the detail by department, but I'm just not sure as council, we need to dig into the weeds of every department. There are particular accounting practices and accruals and things that go on at that level that make things look different. For me, the roll up is the most important thing. Are we on budget? Is taxation coming in as expected? Those sorts of things. So that's the second thing I would request. And then thirdly, again, just an overall financial package that tells us where the municipality is, report, a P&L type report, if that's possible. I'm not sure it would make that much sense at that point in the budget year, but certainly the roll up is more important to me than the P&L.
Before I go back to Lane, we are dealing with the budget timetable. So you've gone off into other. Dealing with the budget binder, I would like you to be more specific so I understand what you're asking for with regards to a date.
I would like to see it a week earlier.
Which date are you looking at? The 12th of January. Lean. Just dealing with receiving budget details, what,
Sure. So, yeah, our timelines in January are pretty tight for accruals and up-to-date analysis of the previous year. So that's really why the January 19th date is there, because we try to show the most current data for 2023. And so, for instance, if we had some late accruals and different things like that, then it could show off how the year-end financials actually ended up. So say the fire department would be a good example, right? A couple of years ago, we kind of expected things were going to come in on June. Everything was fine. Our last pay period of the year, which didn't actually happen until January, that we had to accrue back to December 13th, and one late expenditure, and all of a sudden we were in a deficit situation, right? Which then meant we needed to somehow offset that deficit. So that week, it's critical in that it also provides staff with 2 extra days over that intervening weekend. So that would be the concern I would have with just pulling it back to the 12th.
Just a meeting later than for you. Yeah, can we have the meeting the following week then, instead of the 25th? Again, it's partially us giving us enough time to go through the detail because it's hundreds of pages, of course, but it's also giving staff enough time to be able to respond to any questions that we might have.
If I could, Madam Mayor, I think the question, Lane, is the final date is February 13th. Would there be anything wrong with saying the final date is February 27th and therefore allowing another week in that? If I could, I don't know.
so you're saying have the budget come to the next council meeting, so.
27. I don't know the magic of ending it on Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
Friday the 13th, February the 13th,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yes, to you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, definitely part of it is because of when the municipal audit comes along as well. So that's part of it, is to try to complete one aspect and move on to the next. And then we have the water and sewer budgets that come along later. Yeah, there are 5 weeks essentially in that January timeframe. So if we were considering moving the January 25th date, we could maybe go to February 1st, which would be another Thursday.
We could, yeah. We could maybe have a special council meeting, just,
Well, the 25th was going to be a special one.
Right.
Anyway, so we could move that a week later if that worked for everybody. That would still fit into the timelines that we have in terms of all the other things that connect to that, in terms of audit. And
okay, so what date are we looking at? Because Ron, we have to watch with county. So what date are we looking at? Sorry? Okay, well, they sometimes have special dates too. All right, so what date are we looking at? February?
Thursday, February 1st.
Yeah, so you would cancel the January 25th special meeting and reschedule it for the following week, which would be February 1st at 9 a.m.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. Councillor Koulis.
I just want to point out that Roma is January 21st to 23rd. So I assume we would be going to that anyways, and we wouldn't have time to go through the budget.
That's what happened last time.
Last time too. Okay. Just
So
that it's going to repeat itself.
can we then move it to the first lane?
I think that we can make that one work. I would be a lot more comfortable doing that than pushing everything later. So yeah.
Okay, so we're taking out the 25th. Correct?
That's correct.
And changing it to February 1st.
And then everything else on the timeline would stay if we
yeah.
can still send the binder out on the 19th. I think we have a lot better product, and then council still has an extra week to review it.
Okay, this is 9. Councillor Henry, okay with that? Okay. All right, so we make that change.
Yes, you, Madam Mayor, I can not only make the change based on the recommendations, I'll ensure that council gets a new copy of this schedule.
Okay, I'd appreciate that. We would appreciate that. Thank you. I
Oh,
just
so-
want to finish off with your other comments. We're not really dealing with quarterly reports right now, so I don't know if I feel comfortable on ambushing our treasurer with that right now. It's not on the agenda, and perhaps we can talk about it at a later point in time. No.
I brought up
Yeah.
times that I make a decision. That's it. Sorry. I brought it
Well,
up a number
we-
of times.
we
If council wants
actually-
to make a decision, then fine. If not, then
Okay,
we'll move
well,
ahead, but
it's
part of the
it
budget
does-
process we're
okay.
talking about today. So
All right, well, so what you're asking for, I think actually you should put something in writing because you've been doing this verbally, if you don't mind. Putting something in writing so that council can look at it and absorb it. Yes,
Maybe Lane could just speak to it a little bit and then.
sure. Okay,
Sure, to you, Madam Mayor. No, we staff have definitely heard the discussion. Michelle and Michelle, our deputy treasurer, has actually looked at some of the different report formats after the last council meeting that we looked at.
Mhm.
Somehow I feel that a rolled up one pager wouldn't do it justice to what we want to do, but so we're looking at a bit of a dashboard that might be maybe a 2 or 3 pager, but a little bit more summarized. My concern, as I expressed at the last meeting, is fiduciary responsibility for sure. There's a
Yeah.
lot of detail in the documents, but so we want to make sure that the overview document provides enough meat to council. And then if we want to dive in, we will still have our other formats that are set up in the same format as council sees the budget. So the timing might be good in terms of the third quarter, because then that dashboard could be reviewed. And if council was happy with that, we can then include that dashboard as well as the summary in the budget document.
okay,
And then when that comes forward, it's something that council's seen in the past. And they can compare it through. So we could provide a summary of that, maybe a draft at the September meeting.
okay. We used to do a dashboard way back when, did we not?
We through you, Madam Mayor, we have various dashboards. Building and planning department definitely does. We've had different ones. I think over the years we might have presented,
Mhm.
never any specifically of actual the budget comparison,
Okay,
but we definitely can
all right.
put something together.
I see Councillor Henry has his hand up.
Thank you, through you, Mayor Sanis. Deputy Mayor Black, this has come up a couple times now, and it kind of catches us off guard, and we're not necessarily able to coherently understand what it is you're looking for. We were able to find some middle ground today with communicating with Lane. Maybe if you could formulate something and communicate with us what it is that you're looking for, we could work together outside of the council meeting when it's not scheduled to formulate something that's a little bit more comprehensible for all of us and see where we can find a middle ground. Thank you.
Yeah, so Councillor Henry, Lane has just mentioned that he is looking at various reports and working with his staff to come up with something that would be suitable for all of us and give us additional information. I still feel we need the department information for each council member so we see what the expenses and the revenues are on an ongoing basis. So I'm not willing to give that up. But if you can come up with something that you can bring back to us, and if it, we'll see how it's received. If you're okay with that, Wayne?
Sure. Through you, Madam Mayor, I can ensure that there's some type of an overview dashboard review report probably at the September 12th meeting.
Okay, is everybody okay with that? You okay with that, Brian?
Thank you, through you, Madam Mayor. Yes, I am.
Okay, Councillor Boyko?
Yeah, I just want to be clear that again, sort of like Brian's question, I want to make sure that I understand.
Yeah.
And so what I think Deputy Mayor is talking about, and what I think Lane is talking about, am I right? Is that this is going to be essentially an executive summary of all of the details that follow. It's not going to replace the detailed document that we look at. It's simply an executive summary at the front.
Yeah.
And if that's what we're talking about, I'm all for it. Yeah. Great. Now I understand.
Okay, and then the last thing you mentioned was an overall report.
I'll defer to the perspective, what he wants to bring forward.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So we'll come back to the recommendation with the changes. I need someone to move it. Councillor Boyko, Councillor Henry, all in favor? That is carried. Thank you. The next one that was pulled was the management letter, and Deputy Mayor, you want to speak to it?
No, that was me.
Oh, John Boyko.
That was
sorry.
me that pulled it.
Sorry.
And I simply have one question. I appreciate the report. And what I really like to read about the Baker Tilly report was how complimentary they were of Lane and of Janice and everyone else who was involved. And so that was great to read. I think that speaks well of the township staff. And the people of Selwyn can rest knowing that the township staff is handling their finances so well. I simply have one question, and that is the unfunded liabilities. There's two unfunded liabilities, and the management letter says, with respect to, I want to ask specifically about the landfill closure and post-closure costs. We know that the landfill will someday close. When hopefully we can push that date farther and farther, what we've been doing. The estimated liability for these costs right now is just north of $500,000, 500,000. Now, what the management letter said is that we have a pay-as-you-go system. I would like that explained to me a little bit more. I'm not sure that I understand it. I think I do, but I want to understand it. And the second thing is that Baker Tilly has not recommended that we create a reserve for our employee future benefits unfunded liability. But Baker Tilly did say the township may wish to consider creating a reserve to fund the estimated liability. And after years of reading these reports, that's as close as they can come to saying, do this. So I would really like to know staff's response to those two questions. What exactly is meant by the pay-you-go with respect to meeting those future costs? And what is the township's response to Baker Tilly's you may wish to consider recommendation?
Sure. So I can start and then Lane can fill in any blanks that I leave or add anything that he would like. But pay as you go it really just means that any costs that would be incurred for final cover, final development of the lifts that in the work that we do in year is covered each year as we do the work.
Gotcha.
Okay. No, we do not have a reserve for the landfill site at this point in time. We've really not been in a position with our tipping fee revenues to start building that reserve. I would think that with some of the work we've been doing in terms of the operations of the landfill site and basically increasing our fee levels to something that's probably more appropriate, that over time we might be in a position that we could start to build a bit of a reserve for the site.
Okay.
Yeah, I would definitely concur with that. And also, if we can build that reserve when the landfill site is essentially either closed or switched into something else, that's when it would be nice to have that reserve to draw on for the annual reports that we need to do, right? So we're not going to have necessarily a revenue source of it coming in. But yes, we pay as we go or close as we go, then that takes care of the majority of the cost. And then it's just the annual reporting that we need to worry about. So yeah, I think with respect to that, I think we're in good stead and we'll start to build that reserve over time now.
Okay, good. Thank you very much.
Okay. And so we pulled that. Let's vote on that too. I need a mover and a seconder for that. Councillor Boyko, Councillor Koulis, all in favor. That's carried. Thank you. And the last one to be pulled is the ice scheduling update. Mary.
Mike, I was the one who requested this report when you were away at the last meeting. So even after receiving this report, I just have a couple of clarification questions. So I know you identified how many groups are there, but how many, do you know the estimated actual number of users that are going to be affected by these decisions? Of all ages, stages?
Through you, Madam Mayor, I'll need further clarification. Are you talking about every athlete, every
You
skater, or every
identify
individual
user- sorry.
rental group?
Like the little chart you provide, says user groups, and then it's divided by, there's even like public skating under it. I have to pull it up here. But I was just curious, like overall number of people, because each user group, the number on a team could vary extensively, right? Or, so I'm just curious, like in a report like that, if we had a better understanding of how many people that decision was going to affect.
Yeah, we can certainly get numbers for you and follow it up. I would be guessing if I tried to do it here on the spot, but LDMHA, EGHA, and EMHA, it's those are pretty easy numbers to calculate. Is that specifically what you're wondering?
Yeah, and more so, kind of a follow-up to that is when we had the presentation by the Lakefield group saying that they're growing, that's kind of where this question comes from, is if we're needing more hours and we're not meeting them, we're having to tell them to go elsewhere. What is the balance of the numbers between the groups? That's kind of like the end question, but I wanted the numbers first before I could answer that.
Oh, okay.
Or close
So
that.
through you, Madam Mayor, last year, there was 28 teams playing for EMHA.
Okay.
There was 11 teams playing for LDMHA, and there were 10 teams playing for EGHA. So if you multiply that conservatively by 14, that's a pretty, 14 or 15 is a pretty standard roster. This year, it looks like EGHA may grow by 1 to 11. LDMHA isn't sure if they've got, right now they have 15 rosters that they're trying to fill. They think they'll fill 13. And EMHA could be as high as 33, depending on what they do with the 4s and 5s.
Yeah.
So, but that's something that I can get sent out to you guys in an email. If the youth groups is the biggest concern, or the number that you'd like most accurately represented, there's no question that EMHA is as big as the other two groups combined, as far as numbers of participants.
Do you anticipate other user groups, like seniors groups, to grow this year at all, or anything that we need to be? I'm just thinking in regards to allocating ice to other groups that are not younger. And
Through you, Madam Mayor, we have been asked by the Sunday Night Ladies Leagues if they can have 2 more hours, but they want 2 more earlier hours, which doesn't help us at all.
No,
We don't have earlier hours on Sunday. They would like to grow their group. Other than that, it's very challenging for me to say who wants to grow because we don't have more time for them.
right.
So let's say Sunday morning, they might want to grow, but they only have 90 minutes. So they can grow as much as they want. Then you're going to sit on the bench longer. The Wednesday night men's, same thing. They have 3 slots. That's it. That's all. So they can grow, but it just means somebody waits longer for their turn to get on the ice. With the youth groups, the growth right now in using all 60 hours at 2 arenas for 120, we can't come close to getting what they would love to have, even at the 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Many coaches would think it's actually 3.5 hours. So if they like to have 2 practices, 1 game, the math doesn't work out.
Yep. And like the final question here too is if we can't accommodate anybody, which we kind of already knew we couldn't, do we have agreements with other rinks who are also experiencing this just to be able to help them get ice time? I know we've been working with North Kawartha and stuff, but I'm just wondering if there's anything as a council that we would need to be aware of or could support this in any way.
Through you, Madam Mayor. No, I don't think from a council perspective, I honestly don't think the issue is that there isn't ice they can get. It's that they have to drive to Apsley on a winter night to have a practice with a group of 8-year-olds. So I think that's the issue. There's, whether you're talking Apsley, whether you're talking Warsaw, Enduro, there is ice that's available. They just, there's 2 components to it. One, they would prefer to book at home. 2, they have to book early enough that they can get some of those, and then they are 100% committed. So they always want to know what we have in full volume. Then they commit to something that is a 7-month cost that you can't get out of if you go to Apsley or go to any other community. And a couple of them have non-residence fees. So I know with Kawartha Lakes, they're at Omimi, it's another one that's underused from within their own township. We can get ice there, but it's at a higher cost to the youth groups.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so are there any other questions on that? Seeing none, I need someone to move that. Councillor Henry, Councillor Koulis, all in favor? That is carried. And I neglected to, and this is the recommendations going to the county with regards to Duro Dummer talking about their ORV use. They want to be coming down a couple of county roads that end up in our township. And we are saying that we don't agree to them, that we want them excluded. And the reason for that is they end up being a road to nowhere. So you can either call it a dead end or a golden beginning, depending on where their ORVs are going. But it would end up with parking issues and safety, and they'd be driving through our roads as well. So just wanted to bring it to the attention that we don't agree with that. Yeah, yes. Okay, yeah.
That's correspondence for discussion.
Okay, and that is, okay. So first of all, I'm doing this piecemeal, but it's because so many are being pulled. So let's approve the County of Peterborough report first. So Councillor Henry, Councillor Koulis, all in favor, that's carried. And now we're going to correspondence number 1, the Exton email you're talking about.
The Exton email refers to a number of things that have happened as a result of the Water Street construction. And I can't speak on behalf of council, but I can speak on behalf of myself as the Lakefield Ward councillor to say that I have read and I understand the myriad challenges and inconveniences, not only that Mr. Exton has experienced, but all of the residences and business on Water Street and those businesses and residences adjacent to or near Water Street. Understand them. I want to thank each and every one of those residences with the microphone that I have here to do so. For their great understanding and indulgence, because what I have heard over and over again is that, yes, it's a pain in the neck, but it will be great when it's done. And I think we all agree with that. I also want to thank on this public way, our township staff who have gone above and beyond in trying to communicate as clearly and as often as necessary with those residences and businesses about the things that are coming up, about the things that are going to be troublesome for the folks moving forward in a thoughtful and respectful way. So I'm thanking, therefore, the township staff, the people from the crew that are doing the work, and all of those that are really hinted at with the Exton email, because it is and will continue to be for the next few months a tough time for those people who live on Water Street and are adjacent to it. So I just wanted to say thank you to all. So thank you very much, Mayor Sanders.
Thank you. Is there anyone that wants to speak to this Councillor Henry?
Thank you, through you, Mayor Sanders. I do understand the situation all too well, as right in front of my business, there's actually a road closed sign. So technically, all streets to my business are inaccessible, where other businesses do have access to it. In business, we must have a long range thinking. And when this project is done, I'd like to see how many emails we get of thanks for how it's going to improve our businesses in that area. I'd also like to note that I've been traveling a bit this summer, and speaking with other businesses in the area. And we are going through a number of financial challenges right now, regardless of construction. And one of them is our mini recession we're going through. There's a lot of businesses that are down 20 to 40%. I've been currently traveling through the Maritimes for the last week and a half, and when I left my house, I didn't make a single reservation. We pull up to a hotel, a campground, wherever it be that we're going. There's lots of space because most of the places are 50% vacant here. So there are a number of challenges with business that go beyond construction as well. Thank you.
Thank you. I also, the day after we received this email, one of the things mentioned in it is that the ice cream sales were down. And it coincidentally in the Examiner the next day, the headline says Canadians don't scream for ice cream like they used to. So it isn't necessarily that the road is closed, that there's a lack of sales. People are watching their figures and not going out for ice cream quite as often as they used to. So yeah, you can never point a finger. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, I need someone to move that particular, all of the correspondence, Councillor Boyko, Councillor Koulis, all in favor. That is carried. Now for all the other consent items that we didn't pull, I'd like someone to move those. Councillor Koulis, Deputy Mayor Black, all in favor. That is carried. Thank you. We're moving on now to let me see here. Other and new and unfinished business. And Mary, Councillor Koulis, you had a something you'd like to say?
Thank you, through you. I just want to acknowledge the compliments of the Shamrock Festival this year. So I'm going to start by giving special thanks. So to Amy Stevenson and Mike Richardson, thanks for the staff side of things. That was very helpful. Vince Young and Richard Northey for taking on the truck and tractor pull. Londa Junkins is our committee president. She's been there over 23 years. And just a fun fact, her birthday is on that weekend, if no one knows. Can you imagine? I want to thank the Quarry for hosting the dance, all the sponsors stepping up and supporting the community, especially as they're saying during a recession, and all the vendors who came out to engage with the locals and talk about what they offer and what the locals can offer them. There's a lot of knowledge sharing going on. That was great. I want to thank Sherry for pushing me onto this committee because I was interested, but having the position as wearing multiple hats, you get to see more what's going on and really understand the community. And I think I just want to give thanks for pushing me. And then I want to finally note that anyone looking to join any of the organizing committees, so Jazz, I'll speak for the literacy, I know I'm not connected to them, or the Shamrock and even the Polar Fest, please let us know. We love volunteers.
Thank you.
Second item.
Yes.
And then a second item, jumping from the Quarry hosting the dance, I want to see or put forward that we send a letter of condolence to the Quarry for the passing of Keith Rasmuth. And I just want to put that forward.
Okay. So yeah. Okay. All in favor of sending the letter of condolence? Thank you very much. All right, before we go into closed, we have several bylaws that should be passed. 2023-052 merger agreement between Croak and Young. B is 2023-053 development charges, road and related. 2023-054 development charges, fire services. 2023-055 development charges, parks and rec services. 2023-056 development charges, library services. 2023-057 development charges, emergency preparedness. 2023-058 development charges, Lakefield South Development Area Wastewater Services. 2023-059 development charges, Lakefield South Development Area Water Services. 2023-060 development charges, Lakefield South Development Area Roads and Related. 2023-061 transit service agreement, Fleming the Link. Can I have someone move those, please? Councillor Henry, Councillor Boyko, all in favor? That is carried. Thank you. And I need a motion to go into closed. Counselor Boyko, Counselor Henry, all in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much.